Alright guys, I'm going to teach you how to use the syncing options in Etterna. So basically you have several options. We have the ability to sync on a specific song. You can set an offset for the entire game, and you can set a secondary offset for the entire game. Those two offsets work slightly different, and I'm going to basically go through all of them. So let's go ahead and up the game and assume that I find a song that may have bad sync. So I know of one particular file which shouldn't have very good sync, and I'll open this up, and basically whenever you're playing the game, you need to look out for if you are playing the game perfectly to the audio. So as you can see right there, I got a whole lot of late grates, which seemed a little weird, but I was actually playing in time with the music, and the notes were just flying past my receptors, and I was hitting them really late. So we have several options. The first thing I would look at is, well, personally, since I have experience, is I would actually just look at the file in arrowvortex if it was consistently off and it was really bad, like that one. But in some other cases, we can use auto-syncing systems. So say the very first thing you want to try, if you've never synced anything ever before, is say we'll go with this option first. There is a sync for the entire game. So if you go to the main menu and the options, or in Rebirth in the top right settings menu on the input options, there is the calibrate audio sync page, which if you go into this, it'll put you into gameplay. And now you're sit here with this very simple song where you pretty much just press left and right. As long as you are on the beat, you should be hitting perfectly. You're playing to the music, not to the notes on the screen. So let me listen to it real quick so I can try to get something correct. Alright, well that seems wrong. Basically, I know my offset should be basically 0, so it's not too important. But once you leave the screen, you should only kind of run through that maybe twice. Once you go ahead and leave that screen, go ahead and press yes on that screen if you think your sync settings were properly set. And then go back to play the file that you just figured out was wrongly synced, possibly. If it's still bad, you have another option of trying to resync the file yourself. So let me go back to that quick. So if I open up the file, I would not recommend doing this for a harder file or something that you can't physically play very well. In this case, it may work out. The auto syncing, when you get into gameplay, you press F6 one time, the sync changes will apply to the song you're playing. Okay, so as you can tell, I made it better. I don't know if that's perfect, but the way that works is as you're playing the song, it is collecting the offsets of your taps. It tries to live correct the music and or correct the offset according to your mean in the past 24 hit notes. But the requirement is also that your mean is consistent, meaning you have basically a low SD. If you're hitting like garbage, it's not really going to give you a good offset, so it's not going to change anything. So in this case, it's probably better. If I hit yes, I would probably be okay with that. But we have more options. So if our problem was not actually the song being offset, but actually our audio devices were kind of whack. So there's a lot of audio setups I don't really have experience with them, but other people use things like DACs and amps for their headsets or wireless headphones, or they have issues with their monitors or other software. They're using virtual audio cables, all this other garbage. If you're using anything that is not direct audio, basically, you will run into a problem almost definitely. And even that kind of setup can still run into a problem where you have an offset that's like very minor. Anyways, if you do run into a case where you need to change your global offset and the main menu one does not work for you or is not satisfactory for you enough, you can also go into any song. I would only do this if you can play a song very good and that song is easy enough that you could naturally AAA it. Also, it is ideal for the song itself to be synced, otherwise that's going to be pretty rough for you. So what I'm demonstrating is there is an autosync for the machine. So when I go into a song, you can press F6 twice instead of once. That will start the autosync machine, which is the game. As you can see there, my mean was pretty close to 0, so the changes here won't really be very large. I would not, when you're using autosync in any situation, I would not recommend letting it run for more than maybe 100 notes at the most. If you keep going further in the song and your sync changes are bad, that can cause you to have a very bad outcome in these sync changes. So the third option for sync changing is something called visual delay. At least it's called visual delay in our game. In this F3 menu, this is the quickest way you can access it. You hold F3 and it is on the E and R buttons here. You can also go to the main menu options and you'll find it in the graphics options section right here and here. In Rebirth, you will find the same option here, or you will find it elsewhere in the settings menu available at this song select. The way visual delay works is it's more or less used for situations where you're the kind of player that's not interested in an audio offset, but it's more of an input delay kind of. So if I was to set my visual delay really early or really late, like 30 milliseconds is a lot. So let me go into the options. I'm going to turn off the fade for, I'm going to turn off hidden. That's what it's called. Now that I've changed my visual delay, 30 milliseconds, you will notice that the perfect hit for me is slightly early. But if I hit perfectly on the arrow, you can see that the offsets that I'm getting are late. So that's what it's doing. Visual delay is actually moving the judge line of the notes. So if I make this huge number, let me just make it really obvious for you. 100 milliseconds. I'm still playing to the audio, by the way. So if you ever need that kind of thing, also, you can set the visual delay to another, you can set it to a negative number as well. That will allow you to have the offset going in the other direction, if you need that. There are further options to change your offset, so if you are the kind of player where you want to change your offset while you are in arrowvortex, your other option there is to open up arrowvortex outside the game. The quickest way to the song folder is with holding F3, press F8, and press 0. Let me open up the desktop here for you. Alright, so this is our song folder. Let me open up the arrowvortex for you. And in arrowvortex, we can quickly open the song and set the sync. In this case, I'm not going to tell you how to resync it. If you know how to use arrowvortex, you should be able to resync the file. The only stipulation here is that you only want to adjust sync the initial offset. You do not want to change any BPMs, do not touch any notes, only change the initial offset. But here I can tell that the first note here is actually a little bit off. We probably want it like right about there, about a 192nd off. So if I actually move the offset to about here, and then I save the file, and then I close it, we go back in game, we can Control-Shift-R on the file, and then if I open it up, it'll be properly synced. I'm not going to notice a difference myself because that sync change was so minor, but arrowvortex will be a lot more useful for you if your sync is just too bad to fix automatically. Another option for you is if you are in gameplay and you want to do it manually, not automatically, you can try holding, one second, right, it is the F11 and F12 buttons. That will let you change the offset right there. And holding shift will do the same thing for the global offset instead. And holding alt will make those increments smaller. I would not recommend using those buttons yourself. I would recommend using the autosync because it is just that easy. And that's it. Thanks for watching.